What is the thing that surprised you the most when you traveled to a country you had never been to before?
Probably in Germany when I bought a beer in a convenience store and they offered to open it for me so I could enjoy it on my walk.
New York is exactly as advertised. Everything I see on TV shows and movies are exactly the same. I've been to a lot of places, but New York is the only one that is exactly my expectation.
A few years ago we went to Italy and I made my wife go on a side trip to Herculaneum and Pompeii for a couple days. In Herculaneum we were wandering around in town when 5 p.m. rolled around, and within 15 minutes the streets were filled with people, not hurrying past one another, but just standing around talking, having an ice cream, drinking a beer or whatever.
In Prague, when you open a camera in the street, it's like a force field. PPL automatically moves aside to not stand in the way.
Japan has no garbage cans anywhere on the streets, but their streets were pretty damn clean somehow. Rip my inbox.
The smells of a different country. I'm from Australia and traveled to Malaysia a few years back. The city, the jungle, everything smelt different to any place in Australia. Edit. Damn, I had a nap and woke up to find this had blown up. It's good to see it's a common experience when traveling to other countries. Also, thanks for my very first awards.
Ashgabat, Turkmenistan, everything about it. The entire city, every building, is white marble. It lights up at night like a sterile Las Vegas. However, there is no advertising except for billboards of the dictator holding on to puppies by the neck to show everyone how nice he is. He has pretty much positioned himself as a religious prophet. The airport is shaped like a massive white marble eagle. It used to be a red building, but soon after it was built they tore it down and built a white marble one. Also, there is no white marble in Turkmenistan, so it has to be imported. They were the largest importer of white marble in the world and drove the price up so high it cost them ridiculous amounts of money to build the buildings. Strange place.
In Thailand we were watching a movie and they played the national anthem and everyone stood up for their king.
Heated sidewalks in Finland, absolutely lifesavers for me who had no idea how to walk on ice. No trash anywhere, either.
The amount of eye contact and observation. When I went to Morocco, in the evening the streets would be packed full of families sitting and talking. These people would watch each other. In fact, even the way I'm describing it with watch shows how unwelcome and uncomfortable it would be in England. People would also make eye contact and keep it frequently on the street, just with ease. It felt so strange for me at first.
The gondola ride in Venice. Not what I expected with the smelly waters, the crashing gondolas with the drivers cursing each other in Italian. Nothing romantic about it.
The incredible security in Seoul. I'm from Latin America, so I'm used to be very alert at everything, everywhere. I forgot my backpack in a small cafeteria and after 25 minutes it was completely untouched in the same spot. You could walk at 3 a.m. with your cell phone in your hands and there'll be no fear about anything.
The tube in England. People complain so much about the tube being late, but the goddamn thing shows up every 5 minutes. That's amazing infrastructure that I wish Ireland had. P.S. This is the first time I've ever gotten this many upvotes. Replies. It seems like we all want better public transport where we live.
Singapore is unbelievably clean. As soon as I stepped out of the plane, I swear I did not see a single speck of dust at their airport. Even the toilets were squeaky clean and completely dry. Every day I go out to explore the city by foot and come back to the hotel with almost no dirt on the soles of my shoes.
The wait time is experienced differently. I'm from the USA, and when my dad and I fortunately had the money to go to Italy through a college program as a teen, the first thing that struck me was how laid-back people were there. In a lot of places, it was a very stereotypically slowed-down lifestyle, with people walking down the street, drinking during the afternoon, conversing and just causally dining outside. People didn't seem to be in a rush for anything, and while I'm sure they have their problems as well, there was much more centeredness across the country. People were much more focused on what was happening right now and what was in front of them. This was in 2008 though, so before the explosion of smartphones and social media.
New York, so many people. London, so many people. I've been in Sydney quite a few times. I'm Australian, and it's nowhere near as busy.
I was surprised that in southern US, and many other parts of it too, I'm sure, you actually need a car to get anywhere. As in, it doesn't just make life easier, it's a near impossibility to go places without it, even if you're in a major city.
I visited Scotland and off-leash dogs were everywhere. I love dogs, so this is awesome, but it was interesting for sure. While waiting for the train, some guy was with his dog, and when it boarded he just did some whistling and the dog ran right onto the train. Straight out of a stereotype, but I beep you not, it happened.
That Romania is a hidden gem. So many beautiful castles, museums, and churches. It's ridiculously cheap compared to the rest of Europe, and the food is amazing.
I was surprised at how much time the Balinese people spend on religious ceremonies, offerings, and worship. Yet despite being some of the most religious people I've ever encountered, they were completely non-judgmental and understanding of others.
Went to Gdańsk, Poland a few years ago with work, and I was not expecting how beautiful the place was, especially the old town. The people were friendly and the food was delicious. I then went to Krakow 2 years later and was equally impressed.
Amsterdam. Knew they biked, but didn't expected multi-level bike parking lots every mile. Jesus Christ, I loved it there. Edit for those who have yet to witness such a beautiful.
Just how empty Russia is. There was this one town we were going to visit which was planned by our guide, 100 or so kilometers away from Moscow, and it's a ghost town. We stayed in a hotel there with the other tourists and our guide. It was a 10 to 11-story hotel and we were the only people there. Outest of the hotel in the city there were restaurants, shops, etc., everything you'll find in a city, but they were all empty except for their owners. We rarely found 1 or 2 customers there. You could literally walk in the middle of the highway there. It gave an eerie vibe, but we enjoyed our stay.
That it's possible to weave through Cairo traffic with the skill of a seasoned rally driver, while driving a manual transmission car, frequently using the horn and sipping tea, by holding the saucer, not the cup, at the same time. Shout out to our taxi driver in Cairo.
So I live in Australia. How beep fast everyone else's internet are.
I moved to Denmark a couple of years ago and the biggest culture shock for me was julefrokost. Julefrokost translates to Christmas lunch, which sounds like a nice, wholesome lunch to celebrate the holidays. The first time I went to one, my husband warned me not to eat anything beforehand because there is a lot of food. I didn't think much of it. I mean, we have Thanksgiving in the US, so I just assumed it was a big lunch. We have nothing like this in the US. Julefrokost is on an entirely different level. You see, it's a lunch only in name. What it really is sitting down at about noon, and not getting up from your seat again until midnight or later. The food never stops coming. The schnapps never stop coming. It's course after course after course, and the Danes can drink you under the table any day. So combine that with strong liquor over a 12-hour stretch and you are likely to die. My first julefrokost, I sat across from my husband's uncle, who kept my shot glass full the entire day. I was drunk by 2 p.m. and full to the point of bursting at 3 p.m. I have never been so sick as I was the day after my first julefrokost.
How impenetrable some American accents are. I'm a native English speaker, but being in New York made me feel like everyone was speaking a different language. Also, how unsocial and lonely Sweden felt. In Ireland, it's not uncommon to make small talk with strangers. If you pass someone on the road when walking, you're usually expected to smile at them at the least. It's the complete opposite in Sweden, I think. People seem not to acknowledge each other, or try not to draw any attention at all to themselves if they're in public. A local explained that if he goes to a bus stop and sees someone else already there, he would wait at least 5 meters away, even if it was raining and the stop was the only shelter. It felt very odd to me.
I went to the Caribbean when I was younger to some of the smaller islands, and I was shocked by the level of poverty that exists there. This was almost 20 years ago now, so could be different today, but at the time, pre-internet and being young and naive, all I'd ever seen about the Caribbean was the white sand beaches on TV, but it was quite an intense experience.
When I visited Munich, Germany, I was surprised by a few things. 1. The amount of people who biked everywhere. It was a ton of people. The amount of restaurants that were not Germany-based, i.e. we went to an excellent South African place, sushi, and got doner for lunch every day. Size of the cigarette packs. Mother beep carrying around a Nintendo Switch-sized pack. The bottle returns are pretty dope. Buy 24 pack of beers, get 1/3 of your money back by returning the bottled. American, by the way.
I went to Spain and the sides of the road were smoking and a bit on fire. No one said anything and the fire was getting pretty massive. It was just like, oh, that happens here, it's just on fire sometimes.
The sense of safety in Japan. I had expected some level of safety, but was blown away by how you could literally leave a purse on a park bench and no one would take it. You could walk late at night and feel safe. At Tokyo Disney, we had a stroller for our then nearly 2-year-old. Happily left it outside each ride with a bag full of our stuff with complete confidence that it would be exactly as we left it. Also how willingly everyone engaged with our nearly 2-year-old. We expected some kawaii gushing, and we got it, especially from school girls, but everyone would stop to say hello, or distract her if she was grumpy. The best 2 memories I have are of an elderly man on the train playing peekaboo with her, and another elderly man pinching her cheeks and telling us she looked exactly like a Cupid doll.
China. Almost every store and vendor, including street food and vegetable stalls, use mobile payment.
US The food servings are big. Like I ordered my regular food for dinner, added a bit of alligator side order cause I wanted tasted plus calamari for my beer while watching the game. I did not finish any of them.
From a tropical country near the equator, I was surprised to know that the sun would set completely before 4 p.m. during winter or having the sun still up at 10 p.m. during summer.
How extremely nice everyone is in Ireland. Spent the first days suspicious before I realized everyone weren't trying to trick me into anything. Fantastic people.
When I traveled to the US and they were selling guns at Walmart.
In Barcelona they take their siestas seriously, everything was closed from 2 to 330.
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more quality content every day.